for today. Looks like that, so you can see the difference in color between the two. I start with the white clay because it feels a little bit softer to me. If you guys want to get a little closer, feel free. And I'm not going to show you everything, but we'll show you a few things. So let's say I wanted to make this into a slab. Kind of work it in my hands a little bit, and then I can flatten it out just by like pinching, same way that you would if you were like making a hamburger or something like that. And then on these tables, or like on this board, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of press down. It's easier to do on the table than on this cart because the cart moves. But see how I made like a little kind of valley there? So I'm going to turn that valley and roll the opposite way, and that'll start to level it back out and spread it out for you. Now, if I just keep rolling and I don't pick it up every once in a while, it'll stick to the table. And then when you go to take it off the table, you'll be real disappointed because you have to start all over again. So every once in a while I want to move it, roll it, turn it a quarter turn, roll it, and you'll start to see how the moisture is coming out onto the board, right? Every once in a while you want to flip it. Sometimes you'll see like a little crack. You can take some of the clay from the edge, fill the crack. You don't really have to add any water or anything like that at this point. And then you can go back to rolling. Now if I'm going to do something with this clay after rolling it on this rough board, I probably want to take a minute, get out my credit card or my rib, and I want to wipe it in a couple of directions. And what this will do for the clay is it'll start to make kind of like an eggshell, which will make it less likely to warp on me. It's also going to make the surface look a little bit better. All right, so I got a slab ready to go. Now this slab, I always forget something. Oh, no I didn't. I could start building with, right now, to do sort of like soft things. Things that are like round. So I've got my knife. There we go. And I had a fork right there too. And I could do something as simple as just cut it down flat on the bottom, save my scrap, drop my knife. And even with it being wet like this, I could bend it and start making something that could be like a vase, right? I could build around a form, so this isn't going to be big enough to go around this whole form, but if I rolled out a longer slab, I could, and then I could mark where the top is on that and cut that, and then make a bottom, and I could start building a form that way, okay? Or I could take that slab, and I did this earlier, and I could let it dry out a little bit more. So this slab I made before you guys came to class, so it's got a little bit more resistance. See how it doesn't flop as much? This is starting to get to be closer to what we call leather hard clay. And I spent a little time before you came in here kind of making a texture on here, so that's something you can start to think about with your slabs, that you can make a texture on there. But when it gets a little bit drier like this, let's do this. I'm going to cut this part off. Save that for something else. But here, good. Okay. I could make a pop-up bowl with this. This will only work if the clay's a little bit drier. Okay? If it's wet, it's going to fall right back down on itself. So what I can do is I can take this wooden form or another form like one of these plaster things, and really only those two, but well, let's just trace right around it. Why not? Cut it a little bit off, so straighten up that line with my ruler. here. There we go. And here's the exciting part. Up above, in the corner of the room, we've got those foam mats. You take this, or something else like that, and you go ahead and put it in the center. You push down on it, you pick it up, and boom. You could serve olives in that. You could put little feet underneath it so that it stands up, and have like salt or pepper in there. It's small, but hey, one little push and you got a piece ready to go. If your clay's too wet and it falls back down because it hasn't dried out, you got a couple of options. I should have got rid of that slab, but I'll remake it here real quick. Let's say I want to do that, but my slab, I tried it and it fell right back down on me. I can take my slab over here, put it under the fan, walk away, make something else. There, I've made a puppet stage. Hello, I am. Okay, so I can make something else and then come back in 10 minutes or so and it'll be ready to do the pop-up thing. Show you one more here, or a couple more, and then we're going to brainstorm together a little bit. So, I could roll this out again, and this time, instead of doing the pop-up bowl, I'm doing an origami folded bowl. I'm going to go a little thinner. And again, I would want this to dry a little bit. But let's see how I do here. Straight lines, using my ruler. I could have made that a little bit longer. I don't know why I didn't, but it's okay. Then, once I've got sort of a rectangle, I kind of like that texture this time. I could measure in, like, okay, let's go in an inch, and then we'll do an inch this way. We'll take our ruler, go corner to corner, and measure in 2 inches from the corner, and then I'm going to cut out that little diamond shape from the corner. I'm going to take that little diamond shape and I'm going to put it in the other corner and trace it 3 more times. And I'm going to cut those corners out. That corner up a little bit. But now I've got 4 little diamonds, and I could work them together to make a star or something. Oh, that could be kind of fun. Or you can make your star with your scraps, and then you make another one, and you make something that goes up. Now you've got something that's more sculptural going on there. So it could be kind of abstract and make kind of a cool base or something like that. But what I could do now is I'm going to make these corners go up. What I've got here is some slip. It's just a container with water and then some clay put in it. When you guys start working, I'll bring around some cups of water for everybody. And then as you're working, you can just throw little bits of clay in there and they'll dissolve and make the water thicker like slip. But really the water is the thing that's important. So I'm going to go ahead and paint a little slip on the corners here. And then to make sure that that stays in place and that it really grabs the other side, I want to do this, which is called scoring. So these corners will all be soft and ready to grab the other corner. or the other edge. And like sometimes people think of slip as like glue, and like you gotta work fast and put it together as fast as possible. But in a way, that's actually the opposite of the best way of working with the slip. The longer the slip sits on the clay, the softer the clay gets, the better it's gonna grab that other piece of clay. So if you paint this on and then you're like, oh my gosh, did you see the poet yesterday at the inauguration? Or, oh my gosh, the Bachelorette, that season, this is the greatest season ever. The Bachelor, and then you talk for a little bit and you come back and you look and you're like, my slip all dried up. That's no good. Actually, your slip got sucked into the clay, which makes it even better. So then you come back and you're like, oh shoot, I gotta put more slip on here. You just made a better corner than the person who did it really fast. Okay? So let the slip soak in. And then what I like to do is I like to overlap a little bit and pinch. And turn it, overlap. See, I knew I screwed up that corner a little bit, but it's okay. It's my first bowl. Give me some leeway. There, I've made a little soap dish. You know, so anything that you could fold out of paper, you can make out of a slab. And in fact, some of my, projects in college, we had to make it out of paper first. What kind of paper? Tar paper, and if you made it out of tar paper, you use those as like stencils on everything else. Or you could sculpt, right? Like I could just take this and start saying, okay, what am I making today? I'm gonna like put some eyes and a nose and a mouth, and I've got a freaky looking little guy there, But if I put this in the kiln, it's a little thicker than my thumb, and when the water tries to escape, when it's getting heated up, it would crack. So, it's important that at the very least I do something like get in here with my fork and open it up so that the air can get inside as well, and that will dry out better, and there'll be less chance of it cracking when it goes into the kiln. So you can make pottery, you can fold, you can push, you can sculpt. We talked about a pinch pot yesterday. Give me 3 more ideas. Somebody come up with an idea. What else could you make in the hour that you have left? Go ahead.
Can you like just fold and make a 5-pound circle and then make another cup?
Go around it that way.
Yeah.
Yes, of course you can. So you can start with the base, make a rectangular slab, go around it. Somebody else, 2 more ideas before I show you some last minute ideas. Jonathan, you gotta have an idea. Make an animal? Yeah, an animal. I thought for a second you were saying ball. I don't know, but you could make a basketball. Jesse. An animal as well. Okay. Or you could make the poop emoji, or a variation on the poop emoji is you make a base that's got like some texture on it. You've got like a cupcake that you can put stuff in, right? Or you roll up the clay and you pinch it and it starts to look like a flower. Or maybe you coil with your clay, or you roll out your slab. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can press into the clay on the counter and in the shelves over there. And there's texture. You fold it, and then you got a place to put like your stuff at home. Or you put a hole in the bottom, and then you can like put your cell phone in there, and it'll hold your cell phone while you're charging it at night. Or a little tray with some texture. Or pizza. So you get to have some fun here. There's no rules on what you have to make. You can make whatever you like, but we want to have 4 things by Friday or thereabouts. Okay, so that we can fire them and you can get to know how to work with the glazes. Questions? I know I forgot something, but this is enough for right now. You actually have 65 minutes. Thank you.